Hey guys, and welcome to another chapter in this daily vlog series. I'm your host, One Bright Sheep, and I hope you're having a wonderful day because I certainly am. Finally, I've discovered a technique that actually works for me for Inktober, and that makes me really excited. I discovered that if I initially start with very light washes of ink, I can then lift off some of that pigment from the paper or from the illustration in the areas that really need some brightening up, and then darken everything as I go. And I found this to be the better way for me to approach an ink drawing because it really involves all the steps that I like when I'm doing watercolors, which is gradual build up of values and also very abstract shapes sometimes. And yeah, it still gives me enough control with a paper towel that I can feel that I know what the outcome will be, and it also allows me to have some very nice happy accidents that come out along the way of painting this drawing. Also, I really enjoyed doing the face because I felt like it really conveyed, or well, the abstraction was really good in my opinion. I also introduced a new material in this ink drawing, which is a very fine liner that I got from Stedler, and it's a black one. I used it for the very small details of her face and also for some other tiny areas that I need, in which I needed more control, because I usually work with a brush, as you can see right now, and also with my brush pen because I really enjoy the very flowy and the motion that the lines have when you do them with a brush pen. But sometimes it can get a bit tricky to get your lines the weight that you want them to, and so in order to avoid any mistakes that I could have had in the face, I decided to use a fine liner instead. Yeah, and I didn't use a ballpoint pen because I don't know, I felt like it wasn't dark enough compared to the background, for example, and so I decided it would be better to just use a regular fine liner. So yeah, what I decided to do in the end with the approach of this piece, or the idea that I had in mind, was to start off with a whole wash of the area that I wanted to paint, like for example to create a background at the same time that I painted over the face and the body and everything, and then lift up some of that pigment from the areas that needed some brightening up, and I think that worked out pretty neatly. I got some abstract shapes while also keeping very defined shapes, which is something that I really love and that I never was able to achieve with my watercolors. So I'm pretty excited to try this out with watercolors actually. I can't wait to do a color piece. I didn't upload anything today to my Instagram because it was kind of hard for me, or it's becoming kind of hard for me to do this style shift while producing 2 pieces a day, because I mean, with the previous style I was very used to having to upload a daily drawing in the morning and then the Inktober piece at night. I already had a plan and a workflow to follow, but now with the changes that I want to implement, it's becoming a little bit harder for me because it's something kind of exhausting. And I don't know if I'll keep on uploading every single day a new piece during the mornings, because I also don't want to fall into that state of mind that I have to produce art only to upload it to Instagram, but I also don't want to become lazy, so it's kind of tricky, and we'll see what I come up with, and hopefully I'll still upload in the mornings as well as in the night for Inktober and all of this stuff. And when it's done, I don't know if I'll keep on doing 2 pieces a day, perhaps I won't, but I'll have to see how everything develops, and yeah, hopefully I'll find a nice balance before I burn out. And yeah, you see me right now working with the fine liner. It was pretty neat and pretty handy when I needed to draw in the hands, because you know, with a brush pen you can get those fine lines as well, but it's a little bit more hard to do so. And then since I can't have my face real close to the paper because it would get in the way of the camera, I really needed to have something that was a bit more controlled and more steady than the brush pen, and so I went in with a fine liner. Now we go into my favorite part, which is lately becoming the hair. I'm having quite a blast drawing hair lately, and it's because I found this new technique, as I said the other day, and I'm pretty happy with how it turns out, and I really enjoy the look of it. I'm also quite happy with how the eyes came out, because with the pencil sketch I was like pretty okay with it, but it wasn't something breathtaking or very different from what I usually do. But then when I started inking, it really came to life, and I really enjoyed how it turned out, because I'm usually a person who likes to have everything defined, and that goes for the eyes as well. But with the ink, I've noticed that the more abstract you are, the better the piece looks. And so yeah, the eyes were looking kind of, I mean, I like them, but they were looking a little bit too thin or too or too too simple for my taste, so I decided to add a little bit of shading in the corner area of the eyes, and I think that really brought up the contrast of the eyes and of the face in general. And so yeah, that's something that you can expect to see more of in my future work, because I really like the result of it. Now I went in with a white jelly roller because I think that that's one of the things that really makes my illustrations pop. As you can see in the hair and also the arms and the hands, it really does add something extra to your paintings, and so I would recommend anyone who's working with inks the way that I do to use a white jelly roll, because it totally makes the difference at the end. And yeah, I'm now refining and adding more contrast to the darkest areas that I need to. Oh, and also, by the way, I was very frustrated when I first saw the footage of this recording because the first part was out of focus. I don't know how it happened. I usually just select or open the phone camera and then select an area and lock the focus so that even if my hand is in the way, it won't change the focus to my hand and then to the painting, because that can be quite annoying, especially with sped up videos. And so I'm very careful always with that, and so I don't know what happened, that the painting wasn't really on focus. And it wasn't until the next piece of footage that I noticed that, but in that piece I really didn't do anything. I just added some white highlights and some details to the coat, and so it wasn't enough to compensate. But luckily I could fix it up in Premiere Pro. I used a sharpening mask and I feel like it really turned out well in the end. But yeah, now we're ending the video, and so leave a like if you enjoyed it, and also comment down below if you have any tips for me to try out in my next Inktober illustration, and subscribe if you want to become part of the herd, and I'll see you in the next one.